25 days. You have 25 days until the end of 2024. You will be surprised what you can achieve in 25 days, and trust me, I've done it. I always used to think that it was the larger goals that actually made the difference. But in reality, it's when we can take these small steps, and I'm going to show you exactly how so that you can finish 2024 off really strong. My name is June. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I cannot believe that 2025 is right around the corner, and I want to be sure that you're not those types of individuals that are just going to wait till January 1st to make a change. And in reality, likely when it comes to February and March, that you're going to fail with your goals. But right now, I want you to actually take initiative and prove to yourself that you can actually handle it. And if you can start off strong now, you can build momentum and make January 1st even that much better. And you know how much I really love hearing your feedback. So right now, if you could comment below 1 through 10 how this video is going to be, and you can continuously comment, respond to it to let me know how it goes for the remainder of the video. I want to make the highest quality videos. This is a big initiative for me to finish out the year of 2024 too. So I'm looking forward to seeing your comments there. Number 1, make fast decisions. I know often we look for the moment in which we are 100% sure that the decision that we're making is the right one. But in reality, that is very rare to have happen. In fact, what you should do is expect that you'll never be 100% sure that it is the right decision. All you can do is best prepare for it, right? And so this is where you go out and do the research necessary. You have a decision to make, weigh the pros and cons, look up online, look up with the sources that are available to you, whether they're people or whether they are different reading materials that you have, and figure out the best of your abilities, the pros and cons, and weigh them objectively. But once you do that, likely you're not going to sit there and think to yourself, yeah, actually, this is 100% the right decision, because that feeling escapes us often because we are overthinkers naturally. But in that moment, I want you to make the decision. I don't care necessarily that you don't feel 100% sure about it, but you need to make that decision and make it fast, especially if you can then predict the fact that yes, I'm not necessarily going to know exactly, but afterwards, I'm going to do everything I possibly can to make that decision the right one. That's where the magic happens, because often people will make a decision and then leave it to the world for then it to be decided whether or not that was the right one. But no, it's up to you to follow up. It's up to you to actually do the work necessary so that you can feel confident in your next decision as well. And even if that decision wasn't necessarily the proper one, what happens is that you're obtaining a body of work. You're actually showcasing to yourself that you're capable, because if you're constantly only in your head, you will never, ever have the proof, the track record to show yourself that you're capable of doing the things that you say that you are. So make decisions quick, make it the right one if you can, and even if you can't, live with the result and move on. This is how you actually make progress. Number 2, simply say no more. Often people ask me, hey, how are you able to manage so many things at once? How are you able to get your bachelor's and master's simultaneously? How are you able to build a business at the same time? How are you able to build an audience online? How are you able to get involved in internships, etc.? But people don't realize that it wasn't necessarily the things that I was doing. It was the things that I said no to, because I was saying no a whole lot. Actually, in fact, I think that's my superpower. I can say no and I don't necessarily feel too bad about it, because I know for a fact that I've limited energy. In fact, I get distracted so easily, and I know that, I'm so sure of that, that I don't put myself in position to fail in that capacity. And therefore, I will literally just say no to any of the distractions. I won't go out if I don't need to. I won't be in any group that I don't necessarily feel like is suitable for me. I won't necessarily do anything that will distract me from the current focus. And that, I think, is going to be a huge benefit for somebody like you and me in the world that we live in today, which is the digital age. So we're constantly being distracted, right? You have to understand that algorithmically, things are meant to be eye candy. You're supposed to feel attracted to the thousands of different options out in the world, drop shipping, Amazon seller, whatever it looks like. And all of those things might seem perfect. It may distract you. You might think that you should be traveling the world. But I want you to say no. I just want want you to realize that whatever's in front of you in this moment is the main mission. Keep the main thing the main thing. And I promise you, the progress that you start to make, it's going to do two things for you, and it will be massive. The first one is that it's going to build confidence because you now have a body of work to prove that, again, you can do the thing that you set out to do. But moreover, it's going to build momentum in the positive direction. It's going to allow you to then be able to capitalize on that momentum by chasing out after bigger goals. And then that's where you can start to layer different tasks together and still have success. So when I first started out and I told myself, I need to get better grades, I need to focus in the classroom because that was my main responsibility, I said no to everything else. I did that. Once I did that, I started to get the momentum for it. That's when content creation became a main focus for me. Once I started to get good at that, that's when I started to build a business behind it too. That's how you do it. You say no more often, you focus on the main thing, and then you build things later once you have the momentum established. Number 3, the power of your surroundings. Please do not discount how your environment will impact you. Right now, I'm sitting in my hotel room in the center of Tokyo. I wish I could show you the view outside because it is beautiful. Actually, the last month or two, I've been in a slight creative rut in the sense where there's been so much on my plate in regards to Black Friday, in regards to a new business that we're starting, that we're announcing really soon at the beginning of next year. And because of those things, I didn't necessarily put in as much effort or creative thought to my content. In the moment I got here, after 17, 18 hours of traveling, after losing a bag and going through a lot of stresses, I looked out through the window and I saw the city of Tokyo at night. Immediately, I made a new video. That's what happens when you're in a new environment. Things tend to inspire you more. And if you are in an environment that's going to distract you, you are shooting yourself in the foot. You are self-sabotaging yourself. And I understand that often we find ourselves in predicaments that we can't necessarily control. And I'm going to speak on that, but likely you're not necessarily being completely honest with yourself. There's probably things in your control that you can do. You have a loud household, wake up earlier, because that's what I used to do. I used to wake up before anyone else in my family was awake because I needed to get some quiet time and focus in an environment that's conducive to my success. What did I do when I was in college? I went to the library often. I would sign out, I should say, one of those rooms where it would be just me in the back of the library. If you are in a situation where this may not be possible for you, whatever you can do to mitigate the visual distractions. I know I speak about the little divider that I had on my desk for quite a long time, but that can be really helpful in this case too. I need you to understand that your environment is extremely important. Whatever you can do to get yourself out of your current distraction environment and put yourself in an environment that's actually conducive to your success, do it. Even when I had to pay more for a apartment that was closer to school, but I was also getting out of the apartment that was filled with 2 other roommates that often distracted me. It was a hard decision at that moment because it costed a lot more. But I had to realize, you know what, I'm probably going to make more money in that apartment. Why? Because the distractions were zero. It was just me. I was living alone, and that was really, really beneficial for me. I love being in Tokyo. I love being with other creators. I love being in an environment where right now we're at Red Bull Basement World Final. I'm a judge here, and so being able to be in part of that environment has been extremely inspiring to me too. So tell me right now that you are going to actually start making change in regards to your environment because it is so important. Number 4, invest into you with the 4 wins. You have to realize that you are the vessel in which you are approaching life through. I know often we focus on the external achievements, but none of those things matter if there isn't longevity associated with your health. And I mean mentally, physically, and spiritually. And the only way to do that is with honest accountability. Those are the 4 wins. And I'm going to break this down. I know I've broken down many, many times throughout this channel, but it is so extremely important if you've yet to do this to start now. You need a 15-minute mental win. Simply learn something new. You need a 45-minute physical win. Move your body with intention. You can break this up throughout the day. Perhaps you're doing 20 minutes of stretching in the morning and then 25-minute walk at night. That's more than okay. And a third, a spiritual win for 15 minutes. You don't necessarily have to be religious. This is anything connected to your purpose. I want you to take some time to intentionally reflect on it, explore it, and actively apply it into your life. And the the fourth one is that honest accountability. I want you to be a part of a community if you can, or simply have an accountability partner, or start to journal. Whatever you can do to ensure that you stay on track, please do it. If you can do those 4 wins, what happens is that you start to look at life through an internal lens. You start to realize, yes, there is this really difficult struggle of my life, but guess what? It's an improvement of my 4 wins. If I can improve in those 4 ways, it's going to be a betterment of me. That's how I build that discipline. So you see a struggle, and no longer is it just a struggle, but there's a benefit, there's a reward that turns out from it because you're viewing it completely differently. But that happens in every aspect of your life once you can start to have these 4 foundational pillars. It makes a huge impact knowing that every single day that you're showing up for yourself. It's crazy because if your boss tells you to show up on a Saturday morning or a Friday night, you likely would say, okay, fine, right? You would do it because it's your boss, it's your manager, whatever the case may be. But when you try to look out for yourself, when you try to show up for yourself, how often do you say no? How often do you tend to make excuses? When in reality, you are so much more important than your boss or your manager because, again, you are the vessel in which you are approaching life. The 4 wins is how you build discipline in the way that actually matters, and I hope that you take this seriously with the 25 remaining days that we have left. If you can complete those 4 wins for each of those 25 days, I guarantee by 2025, you will be feeling so strong about the start that you now have. With that being said, that wraps up the 4 points that I wanted to cover, and that is exactly how you should approach the remaining 25 days of 2024. Hopefully, as you listened in on this, you realized that it wasn't necessarily these drastic changes, but in reality, if you can have small but fine, sharp focuses, you tend to make the greatest improvements during that period. And because I truly care about you and how you approach these next 25 days, I will be in the comments. I want you to tell me that you are committed to making these 25 days the best that you possibly can, but I understand that you may have a question that you want clarification on for your particular position. Please leave it in the comments below. I will be sure to respond to you, and that way we can do this together. So until next time, please take care of yourselves. I love you guys so much, and I will see you all at the top.